All right, ladies and gentlemen, today I'm going to work on an 8-inch pipe wrench. Nothing really wrong. It just needs to be cleaned up. I'm going to give this to a friend of mine as a Christmas present. He's a pipe fitter. He'll get a kick out of this little one. It's got a little slop. The spring in the back side needs to be taken out and just made a little tighter. It's a little rusty, needs to be cleaned up. See, there's a spring. See that metal piece in there? In the back of this here, there's a pocket with another spring inside it. I need to get that out of there. These are a booger to get out sometimes. Sometimes you fight tooth and nail to get them out, and sometimes you can just get them out. Hang on a second. I'm going to clean this up real good. I'm not going to get rid of the forging marks and the damage marks on it. I just want to clean it up, make it look presentable, like a good used tool should be. Oh, look at there. Now, there's a spring. The spring goes in that pocket. There's I'm trying to show you in camera. The spring goes in that pocket right there. There's a little hole down there. That's how it sits. Oh, shoot. Sorry, my glasses are bothering me and I can't see the camera very well. There we go. See, spring goes on the back of this sleeve and it puts pressure on it. And then this gives tension right there in that pocket. There's a little, I don't know what you want to call, little runner, little groove where the end of that piece slides down and it just sets in there like that. And then that spring's in the back side of this. But all that needs to be cleaned up. I mean, you can see the rust, obviously. That needs a good thorough cleaning. And then once you get it coated with some paint and put a little bit of grease down in there, it'll make a good tool. Teeth on this aren't bad. Yeah, they're in really good shape. Little wear marks, but once I clean it, I may cut a file, clean them up a little bit, but it was somebody's. They marked it on a grinding wheel. That looks like forge marking. I don't think that's not a weld mark right there, but it's rough casting. You can see the casting marks on it. It's a Ridgid tool. Now there is a way to date these. And let's see if I can see a date. Hang on a second. It was painted red at one time. Hang on a second. Let me go to the magnifying glass and see if I can see. That should be a date right there. Well, I can't really tell. The first number looks like an 8. And the rest of it I can't really. The stamping on this, when they made this, the stamp was worn pretty well. This was one of late production on that line, probably with that stamp. Could be 68, could be 78, could be 88. I don't know. Anyways, since it has Ridgid with a D, it's probably a newer, I say newer, could be, I think 88 on up, something like that. I can't remember when they went from Ridge to Ridgid. Wait a minute. This says the Ridge, not Ridgid. I'm wrong. This is an older one. This says Ridge. Cool. It's an older one. Okay. Well, I'm going to clean it up. I'm going the blue part of it and paint part of it. Boy, look at the damage on that wheel. Woo! I got beat up. Oh well, we'll make it good, usable tool. I'll be back. All right, ladies and gentlemen, before we go any further, put the spring on my magnet so I don't lose the spring. And, oops, going to, I guess, go to the wire wheel and run these parts over the wire wheel real quick. We'll go from there. All right, ladies and gentlemen, all I'm going to do here on right up at the top right here, take my glove off, I'm going to take the Dremel and grinding wheel and just clean that up just a little bit. I don't know if that's casting. I think it is. This casting is not that great on this. Just clean it up. It's not bad. It shouldn't hurt anything. I mean, it was rough to begin with. Boy, it's a lot, you can tell. It's cleaned up, it's a lot smoother. This is, I don't think this is the original jaw to this, this handle. For one, it says the Ridge Tool Company on one side and says Ridgid on the other. This Ridgid, the casting and everything on this, I think this is called a dynamic jaw, this part, it's better casting, better quality than this. This is not from rust. This is not from abuse. That's casting. That's in the casting. And same way with this, I looked under it, under the magnifying glass. That's just the way it is. When this was put out, it was rough. It was a rough pipe wrench. And I'm pretty sure the way it says Erie and that it has the Ohio, it has the dots right there. There's supposed to be commas and dots in USA. That's the older version. I could be wrong, but I'm thinking this 38 or 28 older. This is newer. This is definitely newer. And I can't see the date code. I think that's a number 8. Yeah, I can't see the date code on that. The stamping was pretty worn. When manufacturers make things like this, the equipment is used tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of times, and over time the stamping wears down, and it costs so much money to make new stamps that they just use them till they were told not to save money. Anyways, it'll be a good tool. I'm gonna go ahead and blue this. I'm gonna clean this up a little better and then blue it. I can't blue this. I've done it before, but I don't like to. It's got too much rust that I can't clean. So, best thing to do with something like this, I'm just gonna give it a light coat of grease. This I use the brush in the drill bit, and I'll go ahead and clean the outside of this. I think I'll blue this. These, you can buy these two parts in a kit and replace, if you have a good handle that's in pretty decent shape, you can cut these with a file. A lot of times the old timers would buy these and just replace this part. And I think that's what happened on this on this pipe wrench. I got a hybrid, which that's fine. It's still a good usable tool. I may just clean up that hump. Somebody used it as a hammer. They beat on this thing. And I know how these were used. Still do it to this day. When we can't find a valve to shut off a water line or tap on a pipe, we'll use something like this to tap on the pipe until somebody finds the valve. And sometimes you can tap on the pipe for 10, 12 minutes before you can find a shutoff valve. So that's more than likely what this was used for. I'll clean that up a little bit and see what it looks like. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm getting carried away with this just because I'm playing. I'm going to go ahead and clean up the jaws a little bit. They're not bad. But I'm gonna clean them up. They look really good. I meant, you can see a little bit of pitting, especially in the grooves, but catching wise, pipe wise, yeah, they're good. That'll catch a pipe, that'll hold a pipe. And you got to remember, this is just an 8-inch, it's just a little bitty pipe wrench. It's not, you know, you're not taking a 4-inch pipe apart. That's not what this thing's designed for. But anyways, clean it up. I think I'll just shoot it with some paint. Call this part good. The other part I'll blue. Yeah, that's what I'll do. All right, what I'm gonna do is clean this part off before I blue it. I'm gonna clean it with some carb cleaner. You can use denatured alcohol. I use carb cleaner because that's what I use. Most of you that follow my channel know I use carb cleaner for everything. I worked on a mechanical push button lock the other day. I had to strip it down and try to repair it. The problem is they hadn't made parts for that mechanical push button lock. It's a coded lock. It's I think it was a 6-digit, 0 through 5. And, well, they haven't made parts for it in forever. Anyways, it's weird to run across something like that now because everything you're going to is, it's battery operated, got an electronic keyboard. But anyways, this lock couldn't be repaired. Had to swap it out. I did try though. All right, let's get some bluing out. I'm going to use this brand bluing. If anybody, I like it. If anybody wants to know, there's another brand that I've used. This brand right here, it's okay. It works good. I just don't like to rinse it off. This you don't rinse off. You wipe it off. I've had good luck with this stuff, so I like it. I use it. Don't need much. I've already cleaned my brush off with some carb cleaner, and then I'll just blue it. There you go. That's it. Boy, it's taking the bluing quick. I should have probably run this over the wire wheel a little bit more. That's all right. I guarantee you this thing's gonna get used. The gentleman I'm giving this to is he's a pipe fitter. He's HVAC educated. He chillers, pretty much boilers. He came up through the union, so he's got 20 years experience through the union. Smart individual. He will use this. I gave him a hatchet a while back, or last year I think, and he told me the other day when he killed him a deer, he went and field dressed it and quartered it out there in the field with the hatchet I gave him. I think I gave that to him for Christmas. I am pretty sure this is not the same year this has been replaced. There's no way this is not the same. Yeah, I'm sticking with that. If you guys want a blue, kind of protect your tools and stuff, this is an easy way. I could have painted this. I just wanted to do something different. Do something. Usually it comes, the Ridgid tools come painted red anyways. I use this Sunrise Red paint. I like that color paint. If you guys look up 1977 Porsche Indian Red, that's what it reminds me of. That was a hard color to paint too. Now, let this sit aside. You're supposed to let it sit for 60 seconds and then wipe it dry, and then take steel wool and clean it off, or burnish it, however you want to pronounce it, with steel wool. Be a nice little pipe wrench. I think it's going to turn out really sharp. So we'll wipe this down real quick. I'm going to use a brass brush on this part. I don't know if I can get the towel in there to wipe it off maybe. Yeah, there we go. That'll look good. Now let's wipe this down. Now on the threads, I'm going to use brass. God, I hope I was in the camera. I was paying attention to what I was doing and not in the camera. It doesn't matter. I'm not. And my editing skills sucks anyways. Yeah. See? Now what I'll do here, I really need to get those grooves better wiped. That's the only thing I don't like. Oh, my fingers have got cuts on them so bad. I hate the cold weather. Those of you who like cold weather, I am so glad you like it, because it sucks. If you have to work outside, or if you have to do anything outside, really outside, like you're outside for 7 to 8 hours, not just, oh, I'm going deer hunting and I like the, yeah, you're sitting up there sucked up against the trees, sucking all the heat you can. You work outside in this cold weather, it sucks. See what that does, little brass does there? See this side that I haven't done? See how flat it is? See that? You can use brass, but you don't have to use steel wool. I've used brass. Doesn't take much. Now, let's use the steel wool on this part. See? See, it kind of gives it a gleam to it. Look at that side. They haven't even touched. See that? Tell you what. Let's do this. Let's use the brass brush on this side. See? No big deal. Simple. Simple, simple, simple. I probably should have done another coat on this, but didn't want to. One, I'm pressed for time anyways. I gotta go look at a job today. I'm not gonna do it, but I'll look at it. At least I'll tell them what it's gonna cost. I'm not going to do the job, or they don't want to get ripped off, so they asked me to come by and look and see what I think. Look at that. Look how well that turned out. Look at that. That looks good. Parts that I might have missed, I'm just hitting with a brass brush. Yeah, that looks good. I don't care who you are. That's a good looking little tool, right? Or part of a tool anyways. I'll brass the inside. Mate, hang on a second. I got a brush that's in worse condition. Maybe I can get the brushes in there. I can get the bristles in there a little better. Yeah, that'll work. Yeah. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. What should I do now? I need to probably coat this. Hang on. Hang on. Let's coat this with some used motor oil. Let it sit for a day. The motor oil helps it darken. Gives the metal a little coating. I like doing this in the summertime especially. You can set this in the sun and it warms the metal up, especially when it's up close to 100 degrees. Man, it really, the oil evaporates and it makes the metal look a whole lot better. But since it's so cold outside, I'm going to set this by my heater in here. I'm not going to go to work just to set these by the boiler. Our boilers, next to our boilers, it's probably running, I don't know, anywhere from 114 to 130. Gets pretty hot up there, especially by the header valve. What I need to do is get me a small convection oven. I think that's what it is. And that way I could set it, if I can find one that'll start like about 100, 105 degrees, I can lay these in there and let them sit all day, overnight in that. I'm just gonna let these soak, let them sit, and then come back tomorrow and put it together. All right, ladies and gentlemen, now put this thing back together. Before I go completely hog wild and put this thing together, I am going to use a little bit of grease. Put it in the pocket. This spring goes in that pocket. You know, make sure I'm trying to see. Okay. There's a trick, is getting this, because that little part right there is the back of that is where that spring sets, and I got to get that in there. But before I go too crazy, I am going to put a little bit of grease in there. Not much, just one to help me get it in. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to push the spring down. At the same time I'm pushing the metal tab and the metal piece in. I may have to put this in a vise. I need another hand maybe. Most people don't take them apart this far. I do. Okay. Should go down now. There. Boy, sometimes it's so easy, and then sometimes I have the hardest time getting it in there. There we go. For those of you that beat up, chunk your pipe wrenches around, look at there, nice, good, usable pipe wrench, 8-inch, nothing real big. I mean, it's Ridgid on this side, and it says the Ridge, not Ridgid, the Ridge Tool Company. And it's Elyria, Ohio, USA. The body of this is older than I think this is called dynamic jaw. This jaw has been replaced. I don't know if the wheel part has been replaced. Normally when you get you can buy the jaw, and this comes in a kit so you can replace it. And for those of you that have these, that got jaws that are beat up, you can take a file and you can sharpen these. You can take a file and you clean these up, and they'll be just fine. But I'm pretty sure this is not, because this wheel fits a little too loose, but still good wrench. It's usable, nothing wrong, cleaned up nice. It's gonna make a nice Christmas present. Like I said, I blued this one, I blued this one. The bluing came out really good. Let's see if I can open it up. You can see the bluing. The oil, setting the oil on there after it blew it, it darkens it. So it's more black than it is blue. The Brownells is blue, is more of a black color, and the Birchwood is more of a blue. So the only thing is, when you use this stuff, you got to rinse. The Brownells, this you don't rinse. You just wipe it off and then you polish it with some steel wool. Now, I will, like I showed in the video, I'll use a brass brush on the threads. It seems to take a little bit more of the coloring off, or it changes it a little bit, but not enough to make a difference. Look at that. And you can see the casting. That is factory casting right there. The missing piece of metal there. That's, at first I thought somebody welded it. It's not, because the whole wrench itself, the casting is just rough. But whoever owned it marked it with 3 notches. And it's a good used tool now, ladies and gentlemen. For, I don't know what I got, $1, $1.50, something like that. I don't remember what I paid for it. Less than $2, let's say. Looks good, it's clean, it's usable, and has good presentation to it. And there you go. These things new, probably what, $22, something like that. I don't even know. I haven't bought a new pipe wrench in years, so I couldn't say. I've been able to get them for $5 and under. I think I got a 4-foot I paid $20 for. So there's no need to pay full price when everybody in the world's got them for sale. I do know the pawn shop has gone up tremendously on these things. I priced one the other day. 18-inch, and it was $29 in the pawn shop. And it did not look near as good as this. I mean, it was rough. But anyway, guys, give me thumbs up, thumbs down. Tell me what you think. Subscribe if you like. Bringing old tools back to a good usable condition. And this is probably a little overkill. This is going for a Christmas present. Anyways, y'all have a good day.